Hey friendo, Steve here. Once again, it's time to respond to your hot takes in the world of pro wrestling. You guys left a bunch of them. We're going to get through as many as we can. Let's go ahead and dive into it. First up, we've got JT27. JT27 says, sometimes Triple H makes booking decisions to piss off the internet wrestling community. I asked JT for 3 examples of Triple H booking decisions that are meant exclusively to piss off the internet wrestling community, and he said this. Jey Uso burying Austin Theory, not utilizing Bobby Lashley, and constantly putting Charlotte in the title picture. So, in theory, I kind of could see this hot take being a true one. However, the pieces of evidence you gave me do not, to me, suggest that he's doing things specifically to piss off the internet wrestling community. Let me take number 1. Jey Uso burying Austin Theory. The reporting on that was, and you can actually watch that episode of Raw and understand where this reporting is coming from, that it was simply a time crunch issue. That one of the segments, and I forget which one it was, ran long. I think it was like a Rock promo, or somebody did like a promo or something. And a Roman, maybe it was Roman, Punk, I don't know. Somebody ran long, and time had to be cut from that match because for some reason, Triple H is insistent on keeping Raw to like 2.5 hours, which I am a huge fan of, and I cannot wait until SmackDown goes back down to 2 hours, which hopefully will be like in a month or so. In any event, that I don't see. I just think it's one instance of, and on top of that, it's not like Austin Theory is like a big internet wrestling community guy. He's just unfortunately stuck in the A-Town down under quagmire. And so, like, I guess he just decided, hey, we'll just do a quick squash match and that'll be that. The other one, Bobby Lashley not being utilized. See, here's the problem with this, is that now you're making me defend shitty booking decisions. But again, I don't think this is an IWC thing because Bobby Lashley wasn't exactly a darling of the internet wrestling community. I feel like in the Bobby Lashley thing is crazy to me, but I feel like, oh boy, I feel like similar to Edge, Triple H maybe felt that what he was getting paid was not commensurate with what Triple H could figure out what to do with him. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying that there wasn't anything you could do with Bobby Lashley. A guy getting those kind of reactions, I think you could definitely find something to do with him. I absolutely do. Even Bobby Lashley himself said he was more of a Vince McMahon guy and that Vince really liked him. Triple H, I guess he just didn't appreciate what Bobby brought to the equation, and so he just let the contract expire. Not what I would have done. Again, though, doesn't seem like it was a decision made just to piss the internet wrestling community off. And the last one, putting Charlotte Flair in the title picture. I think that is too important a slot. That is too big of a thing to simply be petty over. I think Triple H has always liked Charlotte. Ric Flair is his favorite wrestler. It stands to reason that the character of Ric Flair's daughter would be a favorite of Triple H's. She's a high-profile person, and you want to use Charlotte Flair and all those title reigns to give the rub to Tiffany Stratton, which is exactly what they did. So I feel like that's going to be the reason why Charlotte was pushed so heavily, not just to piss the internet wrestling community off. Not to say he's not one that would mind taking jabs at the internet wrestling community. If anybody else has any examples that would prove out this theory, this hot take, I am totally willing to listen to them because I think that it's entirely possible. Look, I think Triple H can be a petty dude. I think he can be, and I know he's got one of them burners. He's checking that Twitter. He knows what's going on, what people are saying. So I think he knows all that stuff, and I would not put it past him to be petty when it comes to his booking. I just don't think those 3 examples are good ones. Garfield fan says fans need to stop being such inside baseball nerds and go back to being marks. Boo the heels, cheer the faces, and shut the F up. Treat wrestling like a show and not a sport. Play along, you'll enjoy it more. There'll always be exceptions to the rule, but I'm sick of seeing heels get cheered for doing deplorable acts because they're an internet darling. Lindsay Harvey says people should stop standing up at live events when they're excited. Control yourself, clap, and make noise. I can't see behind you. All right, Lindsay, I 1,000% agree with you. Sit the fuck down. Stop putting your signs in front of people. Sit down. You can see just the same. Control yourself. 1,000%. That first one, though, what was the name of that first one? Garfield fan. Hey, I liked Garfield when I was a little kid. Garfield fan, listen. And to the other people who have posted in this thread about telling fans what to boo and what to cheer, stop trying to tell people what to like and what to do. It's not going to work. People are going to cheer for what they want to cheer for, and they're going to boo what they want to boo, and that's entirely their right. Who are you to tell me what to cheer and what to boo? If I want to cheer a bad guy and boo a good guy, I'm allowed to do that. And I don't even think it's being inside baseball. We've evolved in popular culture to the point where we can all appreciate a good villain. And it's on the performers and the creatives to craft villains who you want to see get beat up. Not people that you just want to see go away, but people you want to see get beat up. It's on creative. Don't blame the fans for that one, man. Garfield fan? I like Garfield. He was cool. But Lindsay, I agree with you 1,000%. Sit down. Control yourself. Control your body. Sit down. I can't say it. The worst of the fan are the signs that say the guy behind me can't see. Oh, that's the worst. This is one reason why I'm not really itchy to go to pro wrestling events anymore, unless it's like a really small indie show. Because, man, I don't know what it is about me, but I'm always sat next to or nearby some jackass who is like the one person. It's like I get fans sort of reacting en masse to certain things, cheering and booing and stuff. But then I remember Lars and I went to a taping of Monday Night Raw. I think it was like 2019, 2018, something like that. Made me never want to go again because there's this guy clear across in the next section over who just started screaming for Joe, back when JoJo was the ring announcer, just screaming for her over and over and over again until finally security came and took him away. Yeah, it took people ratting on him for him to be ejected from the venue. And then he came back later on. I don't know how he managed that one. Boy, people are weird, and I always get sat next to weird people. It's not me. I'm not the drama here, people. Control yourself, sit down. Enigmaticity says, you cannot wear the You Can't Steve Me shirt to a bar. All right, you got me on that one. This shirt that I made, let me bring up the banner. I don't have it in front of me, is right here. You can get it at friendoshop.com. It's for the Wrestlejuice. This shirt was not designed to wear to a bar. Do not wear this if you're out on a date, especially a first date. Y'all got a first. Like, if you're a gal, you can wear whatever you want. If you're a guy, do not wear this on a first date because this is not a cool thing to wear, especially a hat that says you can't Steve me. That's not the point of this shirt, is to wear it to a bar, all right? But I don't wear it to a wrestling show. Just make sure you're sitting down and make sure you're clapping and cheering for whoever you want to clap and cheer for. But this shirt right here, you're right. It was not designed to be worn to a bar. I am wearing right now a Friendo Club shirt. It's Friendo Club Radio shirt. You can wear this to a bar. It's got a couple of skulls on it. It's cool. You can wear this I have plenty of merch at friendoshop.com that you can wear to a bar. This shirt right here, definitely not one of them. People can be asking a lot of questions over here. Same with the hat. Can't be wearing that hat around. I don't wear that hat out. I'll be honest with you guys. But right now you can get it at friendoshop.com. It's a commemorative item. It's what it is. Nicholas Murata says Fiend should be John Cena's entrance theme at Backlash. I think that's a great idea. I really do. Number one, I'm not anti that song. I understand a lot of people were simply sick of it because it was playing all the time whenever you'd watch WWE stuff. But I'm not tired of that song. And I think John Cena using it as entrance theme, I think it'd be a kind of a cool idea. Verse 2304 says The Rock's interview on the Pat McAfee show was a deliberate work designed to advance Cody's Soul storyline. The subtext made it clear Rock didn't want Cena's soul, he wanted Cody's. It subtly foreshadowed Cody turning to The Rock after losing to Cena, setting up a redemption arc where Cena realizes he's been used and ultimately saves Cody. All right, there's a lot more there, obviously, but we don't have to dive into it. I like this. I don't think it's true. I like this. I think it's really, I think it's cool. It doesn't explain or excuse that shitty match they had at WrestleMania. But if The Rock's comment under Dave LaGreca's post on Instagram is to be believed, everything The Rock does when he's on camera is part of the story. I don't really think he meant it that way necessarily. I just think The Rock was, I don't know, typing words. I don't know. But in any event, I think it'd be cool. I do. I think it'd be neat if there was something more involved with The Rock. What am I saying, man? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see The Rock back, man. I kind of do. The guy can't seem to get on the same page as WWE. He could be so damn entertaining as the final boss. Maybe they'll find a way to craft a really cool story out of all that. Maybe that'll be the case. I don't really see it happening, but I think it'd be very neat. Scott says most AEW fans who don't watch WWE gave WWE 5+ years of chances before being driven away by frustration and disappointment. Most WWE fans who don't watch AEW just seem to hate that other wrestling even exists. All right, you were almost dead on with both these points, but not quite. The first one, I agree. I think a lot of people that watch AEW watch it because they gave WWE a ton of chances and it's not their thing. And they got what they're looking for in AEW, which is more like kind of a combo of like Ring of Honor, PWG, New Japan, stuff like that. And it's something that they'd wanted maybe out of WWE, and WWE just didn't deliver on it. However, I do not think that people who enjoy WWE do so and don't watch AEW because they simply don't. I think I can't speak for everybody, and neither can you, but I do think that a significant part of the fan base probably enjoys WWE simply because WWE does what WWE does in WWE's way. That's the way they have told the story of pro wrestling for decades under the Vince McMahon template. Triple H hasn't really deviated too much from that. He's just tried to bring some amount of character development and logic to the stories that Vince McMahon had been missing for decades by the time he was ousted from the company. And neither is right or wrong. I don't think WWE fans give a shit one way or the other about other stuff existing. There's always going to be a small band of weirdos in the fandom. That's always going to be the case. And so, yes, I'm sure there are, as you've seen on Twitter, there are plenty of people who are like, oh no, AEW sucks. And they'll say that no matter what, AEW could be amazing. And people will still be like, oh, this sucks. But I honestly think that that's a very, very, very small minority of fans. It's not in terms of the entire fan base. It's not very many people, comparatively speaking, as a percentage. I think most people just enjoy what WWE has to offer. They view it as the biggest thing, and they want to be on board that. And they like the presentation. And AEW's got a slightly different presentation, and they focus. Like the other day on Dynamite, we had like a 30-minute match. Open up the show. It was an 8-man all-star tag match. And for people who just like to see the wrestling stuff, it was great for them. They're eating good. But, I can see why it wouldn't be exactly up the alley of a lot of WWE fans because it's just not what they're used to. So I don't think it's got to be framed as in AEW fans gave WWE a lot of chances, which I think is true. And therefore, WWE fans who stuck around just don't like anything else. AJ Otani says Axiom will become the top star in the Lucha division in WWE and will be the Rey Mysterio replacement they're looking for. I think out of everybody, if you're looking for like a young Rey Mysterio replacement, Axiom would be towards the top of my list, maybe the top of my list. I could see that. I think the dude's got the charisma. He's got the comedy stuff down. He's got the wrestling down. He's got the cool mask. It's it's not just doing what Rey Mysterio is doing. It's doing something a little bit different. So yeah, no, I can see that being the case if they sort of maximize his potential. Shotgun Sean says Braun Breaker is too badass to boo. Seth's song is too over. Paul Heyman is too beloved. They aren't going to work out as a heel group. I don't necessarily know that they're trying to be a straight up super heel group. Although what they did to Sami Zayn is pretty heelish. On the other hand, Sami Zayn's kind of annoying. It'll be interesting to see what direction they take. I mean, clearly he's supposed to be the big bad on Raw. I get that. But I wonder if they're going to try to take a bit more of a nuanced approach with that. Because everything you said is absolutely true. When you have Braun Breaker out there doing really cool shit, it's going to be hard for the crowd not to be like, one more time. So we'll see what happens when CM Punk confronts this version of Seth Rollins. We'll see what happens when Roman Reigns comes back to confront this version of Seth Rollins. Hopefully it'll just be some compelling television, and it won't necessarily be, oh, they're trying to make us, boo these guys. Oh, they're bad guys. They're dastardly. Hopefully they'll just write some really cool shit, and we'll react naturally. Cosmic V Cosmic says there's nothing WWE could do to make fans like Charlotte. Hard disagree. Whether or not they're able to or whether or not they will, I think that her entire return was botched, though. I think if you emphasize the human behind the character, Ashley as opposed to Charlotte, And if you were to see the struggles she went through in her personal life, professional life, if they're able to craft a narrative around some of her real life things, I think that people would be sympathetic to that. I think when she was brought back as a good guy and they had vignettes with her on yachts, that's probably not the right approach these days. So I think that there's a way to do it. I just don't know if WWE's gonna do it. Bam Trapta says, Nia Jax should have been in Charlotte Flair's spot at WrestleMania. Nia worked her ass off all year showing people how much she improved and immediately got shoved to the side once Charlotte was good to go again. Yeah, I actually kind of agree with this one. I love Charlotte Flair, don't get me wrong. I think she's great. Nia Jax and Tiffany had kind of a long-term story going on. And yeah, they just sort of like shoved that to the side. It seems like they're getting back to it now. I mean, SmackDown's on like right now. It's actually starting right now. So I'm sure by the time SmackDown's done and this thing is uploaded, we'll have more of a picture in terms of, you know, what the Nia Jax Tiffany story is going to be. But yeah, I could see that. I think that probably should have been maybe a WrestleMania. Heel Heat says, I'm actually intrigued by the Hogan Bischoff freestyle wrestling announcement. I want to see the train wreck. I get the feeling it's not going to be as pro wrestlinged up as they're making it out to be. Their goofy NWO style old man promo. I think it's probably just to get investors to sign on to the project, using their name value and nostalgia. But I'd be surprised if they were too involved in like the on-camera stuff. So I don't know. Look, if they're able to craft a decent narrative around these athletes who are going to be participating in shoot freestyle stuff, and it's interesting, I'll be on board with it. I just don't see how they could justify having those guys on camera too much when they don't really have much to offer in terms of the world of freestyle wrestling. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting if they're not involved in like on camera, if they're just there to sort of be behind the scenes. But then I don't know what Hulk Hogan has to offer behind the scenes. So I don't know. I got an open mind. It's nothing that like interests me from like a WrestleJuice or Going in Raw perspective. But like, I don't know. I'd be willing to try it. Shotgun Sean also says Stephanie Vaquer is great. Her backbreaker finish is terrible. I agree with this one. I love Stephanie Vaquer. I think she's absolutely phenomenal. I think she's going to be huge. I am not a fan of that finish at all. It's so clunky. It's so awkward. It's just, yeah, it's not the best finish in the world. Corbin says Ricky Saints has been extremely underwhelming. They need to make him a bad guy again. Like when he showed up, he was just walking around saying, why is everybody so angry around here? It's pro wrestling. That's sort of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be intense. It's supposed to have a sense of urgency. And I want to see that from Ricky Saints. He needs to be a bad guy again. The BT Stevens says Brock's part-time runs with the belt were the best things to happen in wrestling in a long time. It made the world title feel so much special and legitimate when you only had a few opportunities to see it. So the argument here I actually agree with in terms of I never really cared too much that Brock wasn't around a lot. It was, for the most part, unless he was wrestling a smaller opponent, Brock matches were just Brock matches. And it just wasn't, I never thought he was involved in very many good stories. And I always got the feeling Brock just wanted to do what Brock wanted to do. And I think that was kind of more of a problem than like when he would show up. Because yeah, like they did make Brock out to be this unbeatable guy. And then when it was clear that like Vince McMahon had no idea how to successfully book Roman to the point where the fans would react the way he wanted them to react with him beating Brock, then yeah, it just became like, oh my God, not only is this guy never around, they're not really telling a story with him. So that was my main issue, is that they never really told a good story with Brock Lesnar. Enzo says the best way to watch a wrestling show or any TV show is to not interact with the fan base that much. People will always find things to be mad about. Don't let them ruin it for you. Just be chill, man. You know, I wish this wasn't true, but it kind of is true. If you get too deep into any fan base, you're just going to end up diving into a morass of negativity. You know, it's like me in Star Trek. I can't get on their subreddit too much, man. Especially after I spelled Commander Riker's name wrong and they all roasted me for it. It was like my first post too. Five Olding says Vicky Guerrero is the most underrated heel of all time. To be the widow of one of the most beloved wrestlers and still get booed out of the building takes some doing. Yeah, she was really annoying. I can see why people booed her. Trent Meehan says Ravishing Rick Rude should have been a world champ. There are so many names to cite from the Hogan era for the biggest to never get a world title run, but with his heat plus character work plus being a great worker. He's at the top for me. The dude is also apparently a legit tough guy. Hogan didn't like working with him because he was afraid that Rick Rude was going to fuck him up. But yeah, I don't know. For me, the Hogan era, Mr. Perfect's up there. Piper, honestly, for me, it's Piper. Piper's the number one guy not to have that world title. That would be my number one guy. But Rick Rude was great. Chopper Swag says, Once is Pearl Jam's best song. Okay, so first off, I wish that you would have posted this up over at the Steven Larson Hot Takes thread, the Steven Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast Hot Takes thread, because of course we love to debate grunge on the tail end of that show every single week. However, I will tackle this one here. Is it their best song? Ooh, boy. I don't know. Black has a special place in my heart, because I used it to get over my very first girlfriend when I was like 15 years old. That being said, Once is, oh my gosh, a killer way to begin that album 10, which is like one of my favorite albums of all time. Once is definitely like the most aggressive song on that album, and it is really awesome. So is it their best song? Oh, it's hard for me to choose. But it's up there. It's really high up there. It's really high up there. Anyways, that's going to do it for your hot takes. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.